Hello, future biologists. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of cells. Today, we are diving into chapter Cell, focusing on a key distinction, unicellular versus multicellular organisms. We'll explore how life organizes itself, from the simplest single-celled beings like amoeba and paramecium to complex creatures like us. Get ready to unlock this fundamental concept across 4 exciting levels of understanding. Let's begin our exploration at the easy level, understanding the very basics of how life can be organized. Imagine life in its simplest form. Unicellular organisms are tiny living beings made up of just one single cell. This one cell is a master multitasker. It handles everything needed for life: eating, moving, breathing, and even making copies of itself. Think of creatures like the amoeba, which changes its shape, or the paramecium, which looks like a slipper and swims using tiny hair-like structures. They are complete organisms, all within one cell. Now, let's look at the other end of the spectrum. Multicellular organisms are made of many cells, not just one. These cells aren't just numerous, they have different jobs. Some cells are for moving, some for thinking, some for growing. This division of labor makes complex life possible. Humans, animals, and plants are all examples of multicellular organisms where countless cells work together as a team. Time to test your understanding of the basics. Here are 3 quick questions for you. First, what is the main characteristic of a unicellular organism? Second, name 2 examples of unicellular organisms. And third, what is the key difference in how functions are carried out in unicellular versus multicellular organisms? Ready to dive a bit deeper? At the medium level, we'll uncover more about how these 2 types of organisms operate and survive. Let's consolidate our understanding. Unicellular organisms, like the amoeba or paramecium, are entirely self-contained within a single cell. This cell must master all life functions, from engulfing food using pseudopods or cilia, to processing nutrients, expelling waste, and reproducing. It's an incredible feat of biological efficiency for a single unit to manage all these complex tasks independently, truly highlighting the cell as the fundamental unit of life. Contrast this with multicellular organisms, where complexity scales dramatically. Here, cells are not just numerous but also specialized. They form tissues, which then form organs, and these organs come together to create organ systems. Think of your own body. Nerve cells send signals, muscle cells contract, and blood cells transport oxygen. This hierarchical organization, with its distinct division of labor, enables a much broader range of functions and allows for much larger, more intricate life forms. The concept of division of labor is central to understanding multicellularity. Instead of one cell doing everything, different cells or groups of cells take on specific roles. This specialization makes the entire organism more efficient at various tasks. For example, in a tree, root cells absorb water, while leaf cells perform photosynthesis. This also impacts survival and lifespan. A multicellular organism can often repair or replace damaged cells, contributing to a longer existence, unlike a unicellular one where damage to the single cell can be fatal. Let's check your grasp on the medium-level concepts. Here are 5 questions. First, how do unicellular organisms like amoeba obtain food? Second, explain division of labor in multicellular organisms. Third, list 2 examples of multicellular organisms. Fourth, what happens if the single cell of a unicellular organism is severely damaged? And finally, how does the lifespan generally compare between unicellular and multicellular organisms? Now, let's step up to the hard level, where we'll analyze the deeper implications and evolutionary aspects of unicellular and multicellular life. The fundamental distinction between unicellular and multicellular organisms lies not just in cell count, but in their entire organizational strategy and functional specialization. Unicellular life, while seemingly simple, showcases remarkable efficiency within a single cellular boundary, with the cell membrane acting as the sole interface with the environment. Multicellularity, however, represents a profound evolutionary innovation. It allows for the development of internal environments, specialized tissues, and complex organ systems, enabling organisms to achieve sizes, complexities, and environmental adaptations impossible for a single cell. This transition unlocked vast new ecological niches and led to the incredible biodiversity we see today. Let's consider the functional specialization and efficiency. In unicellular organisms, every life process, nutrition, respiration, excretion, reproduction, is handled by the same single cell. This limits their overall metabolic efficiency for complex tasks. In contrast, multicellular organisms exhibit extensive cell differentiation. Muscle cells are optimized for contraction, nerve cells for signal transmission, and digestive cells for nutrient absorption. This division of labor drastically increases the efficiency of various functions, enabling complex behaviors, advanced sensory capabilities, and highly regulated internal environments. It's the difference between a single person doing all jobs and a specialized team working together. Regarding growth, size, and lifespan, unicellular growth is limited to the expansion of a single cell before it divides. Their size is restricted by the surface area to volume ratio, which impacts nutrient uptake and waste removal. Their lifespan is often short, as any significant damage to that one cell can be lethal. Multicellular organisms, conversely, grow by increasing cell numbers through mitosis and can achieve massive sizes. They can also repair or replace damaged cells, contributing to much longer lifespans. In terms of reproduction, unicellular organisms primarily use asexual methods, producing clones. Multicellular organisms, while capable of asexual reproduction, often employ sexual reproduction, which generates genetic variation crucial for long-term adaptation and evolution. It's time for some challenging questions. Here are 7 questions to test your analytical skills. First, discuss the primary constraints that limit the size of unicellular organisms. Second, explain how division of labor in multicellular organisms leads to greater efficiency. Third, compare the reproductive strategies of unicellular and multicellular organisms in terms of genetic variation. Fourth, what evolutionary advantage does a longer lifespan offer to multicellular organisms? Fifth, how does damage to a single cell impact a unicellular organism versus a multicellular one? Sixth, describe the role of cell differentiation in the development of complex multicellular forms. And seventh, provide an example of cell specialization in a multicellular organism and explain its function. Prepare for the ultimate challenge. In the hardest level, we'll delve into the intricate biological and evolutionary insights behind unicellular and multicellular life, pushing the boundaries of your understanding. The origin of multicellularity is a cornerstone of evolutionary biology. It's believed to have arisen from colonial forms where individual cells, perhaps driven by cooperative advantages like nutrient sharing or predator defense, began to aggregate. Over time, these aggregates developed increasing interdependence and specialization, leading to irreversible multicellularity. This transition wasn't a single event but occurred independently in various lineages, giving rise to plants, animals, fungi, and some algae. This evolutionary leap required the development of mechanisms for cell adhesion, communication, and programmed cell death, paving the way for the complex life forms we observe today. At the heart of multicellular complexity lies an intricate network of cellular coordination and communication, akin to a sophisticated biological engineering marvel. Cells in a multicellular organism don't just exist side by side, they constantly interact. This involves direct cell-to-cell contact via specialized junctions like gap junctions in animals or plasmodesmata in plants, allowing for the rapid exchange of small molecules. Additionally, long-distance communication is facilitated by chemical signals, such as hormones released by the endocrine system or neurotransmitters transmitted by the nervous system. These sophisticated signaling pathways ensure precise control over growth, development, metabolism, and responses to environmental changes, maintaining the organism's delicate homeostasis. Cellular specialization in multicellular organisms is not merely about different cells doing different jobs. It's about a highly regulated process of differentiation where cells acquire distinct structures and functions based on their genetic programming and environmental cues. For instance, a single zygote gives rise to hundreds of different cell types, each with a unique role in the organism. This specialization leads to the formation of tissues, example nervous, muscular, epithelial, connective, which then aggregate into organs, example heart, brain, liver, and finally into integrated organ systems. This hierarchical organization provides robustness and efficiency, allowing for complex physiological processes like circulation, respiration, and cognition, which are far beyond the capabilities of any single cell or simple colonial aggregate. The impact of multicellularity on life's legacy is profound. It enabled the evolution of large, complex organisms capable of occupying diverse and challenging ecological niches, leading to increased biodiversity. However, this complexity comes with trade-offs. Multicellular organisms often have slower reproductive rates and require more energy to maintain their intricate systems. They also face unique challenges like cancer, a disease of uncontrolled cell division and differentiation, which is largely a multicellular phenomenon. The study of unicellular and multicellular life forms continues to provide fundamental insights into evolutionary biology, developmental biology, and disease, influencing fields from medicine to biotechnology by understanding how cells cooperate and specialize to create and sustain life. Let's tackle the first 5 of our hardest level questions. First, discuss the evolutionary pressures that might have favored the transition from unicellular to multicellular life. Second, explain the role of cell adhesion molecules in the integrity and function of multicellular organisms. Third, how do multicellular organisms maintain internal homeostasis despite external environmental fluctuations, a capability largely absent in unicellular forms? Fourth, compare and contrast the energy efficiency of a unicellular organism versus a multicellular organism in terms of resource allocation for survival and reproduction. And fifth, what are the potential disadvantages or vulnerabilities introduced by the specialization and interdependence of cells in multicellular organisms? Here are the remaining 5 challenging questions. Sixth, describe how cellular communication mechanisms, such as gap junctions and hormonal signaling, are crucial for the coordinated function of multicellular organisms. Seventh, explain the concept of differential gene expression and its significance in the development of specialized cells in multicellular organisms. Eighth, discuss the implications of the surface area to volume ratio on the maximum size attainable by unicellular organisms. Ninth, how does the immune system of a multicellular organism exemplify a specialized defense mechanism not found in unicellular life? And 10th, in what ways does the study of colonial organisms, like volvox, provide insights into the evolutionary pathway towards true multicellularity? And that concludes our deep dive into the fascinating world of unicellular and multicellular organisms. We've covered everything from basic definitions to complex evolutionary insights. I hope you feel more confident about this topic. For more incredible educational content, practice questions, and to explore other subjects, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for continuous learning. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing your knowledge.